Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode on the 67 GTO. We've got the rear quarters, wheelhouses, trunk, taillight panel, it's all welded on. There's just a few small areas that I can't get to right now. I do have to put the car on the hoist, take the body off to do the floor, and that's when I'll get to those. There's some welding around the trunk drop, and I can't get in there really well with my torch because the frame rail's in the way. And it's easier to do the wheelhouses on the hoist. So there's several welds on the wheelhouses. Everything's fixed. It's all together. Everything lines up good. Kind of go through it here and you can see all the rust is gone. As I stated before, I did have to use part of the original package tray. You can see the white right there along the weather strip channel. I had to reuse a third of that because the GTO piece is not manufactured. But overall, it came out really well. For reproduction quarters to a factory trunk lid, that's a pretty darn good gap. Very little work will be required on this. Everything's fully welded all the way around the window. I've put the trim in and out several times to make sure that our window opening is correct. I've also placed the window in to do the same. Everything's welded. There's one thing I'd like to do here, and I'll point it out, and this is for all you guys that are going to do the work yourself. I drill out the factory spot welds, and you can kind of make out where they were. I drill them out, and then I plug weld the new panel on, and then I come in and I do a full edge weld. So there's no chance that these two pieces are going to move independently of one another. There should be no issues with cracking on this joint. Some of the factory stuff, they had issues with cracking there, especially down in here because it was just spot welded and then they threw lead over it. And over time, the lead moves around. If any moisture gets in, you get a little bit of rust, you get some cracking. Got the inside edges all welded up. We'll clean up that top edge of the roof where the window sits. But same thing on this side. Maybe get you a little closer up and go a little slower. You can see what I'm talking about. You can clearly make out the factory spot welds. They're all through here. So I plug welded all them, and then I do a full edge weld all the way. And then one other thing I also do is this is a really deep channel here that usually is filled with lead from the factory, and I've done it on the other side as well. I build this whole edge up with weld, so that way the transition between the roof to the quarter panel, if you look at it, we're really not going to have much fill in there at all. And that's also so we don't get any cracking. So little tip for you guys, when you're doing this, you've taken it down this far, fill that full of weld. Sometimes I've even come in here and I've made a piece of metal up that fits inside here and closes this off all completely, so we end up with a very light skim coat. Moving to the inside, another real crucial area is on some of these cars, the inner structure is welded to the back side of the quarter panel. I'm going to go over to the driver's side here. Number one, you can see all the plug weld areas, and you can also see my edge weld. Full penetration. You can see how it came through the panel, completely through. Well, if you look up here, there's roof structure. There's interior roof structure right there. And I have taken cars apart a lot of times, and this area gets forgotten. People forget to weld that. So make sure you weld everything the way it was at the factory. And what I'll do is I'll go in there, I'll wire brush all this, and I'll coat it. I'll show you on the other side, because I already did that. We'll go over to the other side here, and you can see I've got this all coated, wire brushed and coated, so there should be no issues with any rust in here in the future. Still got a lot more work to do on this car. You can see these floors are a mess. The whole floor is coming out, but I got to do that on the hoist. It's easier also because the inner rockers are part of the floor pan. It's easier just to do this whole thing, lift the body up, do the floor, weld it up, make sure everything lines up, and that's that, hopefully. Door closes nice. Gap is really good. Small area of correction right there. Same thing on the other side. But all in all, came out good. Everything lines up nice. This car hasn't been this solid. Well, let's see, 1967 to now. So you're talking 55 years. This thing here probably hasn't been solid in 30 years. So the customer is going to be real happy. It is very expensive, but we're going to end up with a really nice product in the end. I've got some finish work to do, a couple spots here and there, and then in the next video we'll have this thing hopefully on the hoist, body separated, and knocking the floor out of this thing. So stay tuned. As always, like and subscribe. Questions, comments, whatever you got, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have, show you any videos of stuff, maybe some things I did that I didn't point out in these videos. If you want a quick little short video of a certain area, I can do that. But we will see you very soon.